afternoon.
For my homeland!
Good afternoon.
You have no idea of the power you face.
Salutations. Thanks.
I can't carry anymore.
How may I be of help?
Not in town.
Good afternoon.
Kill you.
Hello.
For my homeland.
Yes?
For my homeland.
What do you need?
Hello.
Good day.
I can't use that yet. I'll put that to good use. I'll put that to good use. Thanks.
I can't carry anymore.
Greetings.
I am overburdened. overburdened. I am overburdened.
Hello.
overburdened.
Typically, everyone's go-to Uber build is the Smiter, and for good reason. It's a build with guaranteed hits, it could be geared up with budget items and still be viable, and for many, it's just a very fun build to be able to use. I recently made an endgame version of an Uber Smiter build guide, so now it's time to try out the budget version and see how well it holds up to be able to collect a torch. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time here in this YouTube Shorts to be able to go over the details. However, the full video is linked down in the description of this YouTube Shorts, or it will be linked on screen, and make sure to check my channel out for more content, and subscribe to stay up to date when my future videos come out. Typically, everyone's go-to Uber build is the Smiter, and for good reason. It's a build with guaranteed hits, it could be geared up with budget items and still be viable, and for many, it's just a very fun build to be able to use. I recently made an endgame version of an Uber Smiter build guide. I recently made a budget Smiter build guide. Typically, everyone's go-to Uber build is the Smiter, and for good reason. It's a build with guaranteed hits, it could be geared up with budget items and still be viable. Again, just to be able to prepare for Duriel, as he would potentially slow this build down, but it also has faster hit recovery, crushing blow, and strength. The amulet is High Lord's Wrath for the plus of skills, IAS or increased attack speed, again, to prepare to be slowed down by Duriel's Holy Freeze. But last but not least, it also has lightning resistance. The armor is a Runeward Smoke for the faster hit recovery, energy, and all resistance. The weapon is Heaven's Light, socketed with 2 shell runes. It has plus to paladin skills, increased attack speed, crushing blow, and life after each demon kill. The shield is a Spirit Runeward in a gilded shield, as the shield already had resistances on it before making the Runeward. It also has plus to skills, faster cast rate, help with blocking, enhanced damage and defense, vitality, mana, and all resistance. The boots are Gore Riders for the faster run walk, crushing blow, and open wounds. The first ring is Ravenfrost for the dexterity, and cannot be frozen. The belt is String of Ears for the physical damage reduction. The second ring is a rare dexterity, mana, and fire resistance ring. The gloves are Drax Gloves for the life tap proc, open wounds, strength, and life after each kill. On Switch, I'm going to be using a teleport charge staff to be able to get around easier to find the mini Ubers, especially for Lilith. But once an Uber Tristram, I'm going to switch over to using a life tap charge wand to ensure having life tap on the Ubers to better my survivability before entering the fights. In the inventory is the cube, bolt tomes, Treachery for the Fade proc that hopefully will proc before running into Uber Tristram. Then I'll switch to Smoke once it is proc to be able to boost my resistances, as well as to utilize Fade's damage reduction. Then, once in Uber Tristram, I'll use T-Gods for the Lightning Absorb against Mephisto, and switch back to using String of Ears for Diablo and Bale for the damage reduction. The small charms are all a mix of life and resistance small charms. For the additional stats, he has 95% increased attack speed, again for Duriel specifically. He also has 39% faster run walk, which will be sped up when using Vigor, 35% open wounds, 83% crushing blow, and 20 to life after each demon kill. Let's go ahead and check out this build in action to see how well it actually plays out. With the gameplay, for anyone who'd be curious as to which player settings I'm using for my build guides, the past, presently on screen, and in the future, down in the bottom left corner is what the example gameplay being shown is currently at. Using Holy Shield, and all the remaining points go into Vitality. For the skill trees, starting with the combat skills, Smite is maxed, as well as Holy Shield is maxed, as it adds to Smite's damage. Then, for the offensive auras, I max Fanaticism to increase my IAS or increase attack speed, especially against Duriel, who would have us slowed down with his Holy Freeze. Then, for the defensive skills, I have 1 point into Defiance as it synergizes Holy Shield, 1 point down to Vigor to be able to get around faster. Then I split the remaining points into both Resist Fire and Resist Lightning to ensure that my resistances are over the normal capped limit to better my survivability in Uber Tristram. Something to remember is that this build is still only at level 76, and my priority for the setup has been for survivability, as I'd rather take a little bit longer to kill each of the minis and the Ubers in Tristram over having weaker resistances and potentially getting killed quickly, especially with just around 1300 health. So for those of you who would level this character up, the skill to invest in the upcoming skill points would be Defiance over adding more into the Resist Fire or Resist Lightning, until you can respec once you reach level 90 or so to keep the other two skill trees the same, but then to switch over to maxing Defiance, and lastly, adding the remaining points split between Resist Fire and Resist Lightning. Now for the gear, when it comes to the concept of a budget build, keep in mind that the items being shown are based on if they are, or sometimes aren't, optimal for the build, despite the item's rarity. There's a reason that so many set and unique items, and even some being treasure class 87 items, never see the light of day aside from Grayling, while some magic and rare items are more optimal and ideal for a build, and sometimes even become mandatory. And on items with a variety of stats that can roll, remember that this is all based on RNG or random number generation, or even better, just dumb luck for certain items to drop, as well as how they can roll. For the helm, I'm using a G-Face socketed with an IS Jewel, again, just to be able to prepare for Duriel, as he would potentially slow this build down, but it also has faster hit recovery, crushing blow, and strength. The amulet is High Lord's Wrath for the plus of skills, IAS or increased attack speed, again, to prepare to be slowed down by Duriel's Holy Freeze. But last but not least, it also has lightning resistance. The armor is the Runeward Smoke for the faster hit recovery, energy, and all resistance. The weapon is Heaven's Light, socketed with 2 shell runes. It has plus to paladin skills, increased attack speed, crushing blow, and life after each demon kill. The shield is the Spirit Runeward in a gilded shield, as the shield already had resistances on it before making the Runeward. It also has plus to skills, faster cast rate, help with blocking, enhanced damage and defense, vitality.
Oh, it's Return of the Sweet Phil tank tops temporarily just got reasons why the actual melee characters are the best for farming Ubers. The first one, we're going to talk about Crushing Blow. Now, Crushing Blow doesn't actually deal the amount of damage then that the weapon would do. What it does is chops off a percentage of the monster's health every time that procs. So the higher percentage of Crushing Blow you have on your character, the more chance that the Crushing Blow will happen, chopping off a percentage of the health instead of, like I said, the weapon damage. So if a monster has 70 bagillion health, it chops off the same amount of the life bar. It doesn't matter if you're dealing 1 damage or 70 bagillion damage. So in general, you're going to want to stack a bunch of Crushing Blow on characters, at least some, so that Crushing Blow will proc life steal, the percentage you get on stuff. Next up, another reason that the melee characters are great is a form of lifesteal, but it's not the regular lifesteal, the percentage you get on stuff. It's actually a spell called Life Tap. Now you can get Life Tap either for the Smiter, that's why a lot of people will use Exile. You can use these gloves called Drax, or an even easier way, and even if you have Drax, maybe you might want to go and get one of these wands that actually have Life Tap spells on them. Not the Life Tap that goes towards the Necromancer, but actually Life Tap charges. The most common place to buy these, where I always get them, is I go to a car in Act 1, you just keep flying in town and out of town, and her inventory will reset, and eventually you can find one of these wands with Life Tap on it. Now what Life Tap is it's essentially like lifesteal on steroids. If you have a Smiter or Frenzy or anything like that, any of these melee characters, once you get Life Tap actually to be on the Uber, as long as you keep attacking, it is actually very difficult to die, with the exception of Uber Mephisto, that crazy lightning damage that he does, but we can talk about a little bit later how to kind of negate that and help you out. Now we'll jump into making that is, don't be afraid and make sure you're using different pre-buffs before you go out and farm. Next up is don't be afraid to have different gear options in your stash. You never want to go ahead and make your portals and then be like, oh no, wait a second, I forgot I was going to try to throw this on to get more resistance while fighting Uber Mephisto. So you need to get out and get your torches, but you don't have a bunch of high runes to make a ton of expensive gear or to trade for a bunch of pieces. Well, you don't have to if you use this mega budget Uber Smiter. Also on YouTube, I guess you're supposed to say, hit the like button and subscribe up. I already have Holy Shield Axe block. Why? Now, most people recommend putting your remaining hard points somewhat split between resist lightning. We're going to take a look at the weapon, and I would highly recommend, if you can't get yourself something like a Grief, which is obviously takes at minimum a low rune, a high rune, along with some other stuff, the base and a few other runes. But this black rune, Thul Io Nef, you can find this easily, or you can actually shop the actual base from normal difficulty Farah in Act 2. Takes a while, but you can get one from her. But it's got that crushing blow. That's the most important thing here. It also has a little bit of attack rating, or attack speed, excuse me. Now, as for weapon other options, this is actually one right here that's pretty interesting. Go ahead and throw it on so you can actually see it here. Heaven's Light. It's going to be kind of tough to find, but someone could just give it to you. You could trade for it super cheap, but a couple shell runes in it. It comes with 2 sockets, a ton of attack speed, and it has crushing blow of 33%. So here's kind of another budget option you can go ahead and throw on over there. We're going to stick with the black rune word. Now up on the helmet, probably the best and kind of the only choices is budget and endgame. We're talking about the G face, and just budget wise, I just stuck an Ort rune in there to get my lightning res even higher. That gets the Ort rune gives us 30% to lightning res. It has hit recovery, crushing blow, deadly strike, some strength on there too. G face, like I said, across all smiters for Ubers, this is what you're going to want to go with. Over on the shield, now this is crazy budget, huh? We just have a Sacred Targe. I think it had like 30 maybe, I think all res in it. Stuck 4 diamonds. Those aren't too hard to find. 110 resistance. There's going to be several other options you can go ahead and use over here as well, but this is budget, and because you're so budget gear, you don't have great resistances, so this is a good way to make them up. You could always use something like the Spirit Shield right here. You know it's on Spirit. It's got the res, it's got the vitality, it's got a ton of other things on there. Great option. And also, we have right here the Herald of Zacharium. Once again, it's got all res, vitality, strength, the block res, it's got the skills. Great option right there. We're going to stick with this one over here for this use here. Down here, Laying of Hands, great option, attack speed. Yeah, fire res you get made up there, damage to demons. Another great option, of course, if you can get your hands on them, I would probably prefer going with Dracula's Grasp. Getting that life tap to proc on hitting. You also get open wounds here as well. That'll keep the Ubers from like healing back their life. We do get open wounds on this build in a different spot, but having it happen over here, you could swap out a different gear piece. But this is definitely more budget and easier to find, so we're going to stick with that. Over on the boots, we've got Gore Riders, not too hard to get your hands on. Crushing Blow, Deadly Strike, Open Wounds. Another option that people go with, sometimes even endgame, they'll go with the higher Crushing Blow chance here, especially if you have open wounds on the gloves from the Dracula's Grasp. You can go with Goblin Toes over here to kind of chop them down faster, but this is our only source of open wounds currently. Also having the Deadly Strike, the double damage. When you get closer down to the bottom, you want to have more Deadly Strike to boost up your damage, because a Crushing Blow takes off a smaller amount of life because it's based upon a percentage. Now looking at the belt, this could be a spot where you're actually swapping stuff out. I generally just stick T-Gods on and just call it a day. That lightning absorb against Uber Mephisto, mega helpful. Also, if you get even more resistance, it does actually give you a higher max res. So if after his conviction aura, you can actually keep your resistance high enough, this can give you a ton of survivability there as well. Now on the armor, for most of the time, I just go ahead and stick with treachery, that huge amount of increased attack speed. The more times you're swinging, the more times you're hitting, the more life you're bringing back through life tap. So that's why I go ahead and throw this on all the time. Sometimes people will proc fade and they'll throw on a different armor, maybe something like duress after they already have the faded proc. You get crushing blow, open wounds, and you do get some all res on there as well. You do lose the attack speed though, so keep that in note. That's why usually I'll just go ahead and leave this here. There is another rune word you could go ahead and proc fade, and then you could throw on smoke. It's just Nephilim, 50 all res, kind of just really negating a lot of the damage from Mephisto or from other places. But like I said, once again, you're losing the attack speed, so you'll kill slower. Now on the jewelry, Raven Frost cannot be frozen. It does have that 20% cold absorb as well, Dex. So over here, we actually have a right here, rare ring. Now really, you don't leech mana or life when you're smiting. It is cool kind of to go ahead and get the lightning res and the fire res made up though. Just a little bit of baby strength there as well. And up on the amulet, we actually have a budget version up here. We got Cat's Eye, Walk Run, and you got increased attack speed along with some dex helping out get towards max block. But up here, I would really highly recommend this piece right here, High Lord's Wrath. If you could just say one thing, let's say you could only afford all this budget stuff, but maybe you could swap out one piece, this would probably be the one piece. The increased attack speed, the deadly strike, and the huge 35 to lightning res. Of course, it has a skill as well. But that lightning res against Mephisto, man, I wish I could throw it on right now, but we're going to use it without it here just to go ahead and show you. But like I said, if I could have one piece, I'd throw on this on the build, and if I could throw on a second piece, it'd be these Dracula's Grasp right here. Over on swap, it actually matters here. We have a life tap wand. This is so crucial. You'll see in the gameplay, you have to get life tap on the Ubers to go ahead and keep yourself alive, quite literally at all. You would die so fast smiting if you weren't life tapping back. And then we also swap around for mobility purposes to actually get out and find the Ubers faster, save us some time. We have a teleport staff over here. Now you're not going as fast as some crazy endgame Uber smiter with Enigma, but this can save you some time getting out to Azul or going to some other places to go ahead and, you know, like I said, to save you a little bit of time. Now, one of the most important things when you have a budget Uber smiter, and it's overlooked a ton when people talk about these things, it's the most important thing you can bring with you, and that is all of these purple potions here. Don't be afraid to save up even 100 full rejuves. You are going to be chugging these things. Chug, chug, chug. I would say you're easily going to go through 50 of them probably with this exact setup, even with life tap, because you don't want to die out there when there's monsters surrounding you. So if your life goes down, slam another one. Sometimes you get mana burned and you're not smiting because you have no mana. Chug a potion. You need to be going through these. You're going to be going through these. It could be one of the most crucial pieces to have on this build, and that is a metric ass ton of full rejuves. Now, depending on where you're farming these torches, don't make this mistake. I'm wondering, why is Daryl taking so long? Why is Azul? Why is Andaro so difficult right now? I haven't rocked a budget spider in a long time, so I thought maybe it's just more difficult than I initially remembered, right? Well, I got to the big dogs out at Uber Tristram, and I actually ended up running out of full rejuvenation potions when I had like 60 of them. Well, I went and checked, and guess what this dummy did? I had it on players 3 difficulty. So yes, never farm torches with multiple people in the game online, or on single player also. Do not ever have this on a higher players count. There's literally no reason for it. Don't make this mistake, fellas.
Good day.
Now, hopefully you stick around and watch the example gameplay, because for this budget stuff, it's actually important for me to talk through the stuff you want to look for, watch for, and what you need to do when you need to do it. Right here, when you hop through the portal, I always go after Duriel first. So right here, I jumped through, I life tapped if you've seen that. Then I went ahead and swapped back over and I start smiting away. And his life's getting chopped down pretty fast. But you will notice when it gets to the bottom, it starts slowing down a ton. Now I am frozen from his cold aura that he has. Cannot be frozen on Rain Frost, does not stop it. But you'll notice right here too, his health starts regenerating, and I'm like, darn bro. Wish I could go ahead and get that open wounds to proc, because with the open wounds like procking, then he will not heal back his life. But unfortunately that 10% chance, I just got unlucky and it just wasn't happening. You see right there, I ran away a little bit, then I life tapped Duriel again because life tap ran out. You have to have life tap on these Ubers all of the time. So here we go. I keep slamming away. Eventually here, I chop him down right there, get Bale's Eye, hop out of this particular one, onto the next. Now, I generally always go after Iziel, and this is the first time we're utilizing this teleport staff. You notice I'm not teleport around all willy-nilly. You kind of run until you kind of have to teleport. You look for an open area, and then teleport through. Here, I kind of got caught because I just ran into a corner like a dummy. But here we go. I finally got past a couple of these guys. Ooh, almost got another problem right there, but pay attention, Phil. Eventually, I do find Iziel down here, but he's piled up by monsters. A lot of times, he'll be standing there solo by himself. I get lucky. I lure him over here. Almost no monsters follow, and here we go. Oh, just realized I didn't have my life tap wand on, so we swapped it on super quick, get life tap on him, and as fast as we can, start smiting him away. Izzy's pretty much one of the easiest ones. As long as you get life tap on him, you smite away, you got crushing blow, deadly strike, all that good stuff. Usually not too painfully difficult. So we go ahead and chop him down, grab the next piece, and we'll move on to one of the harder ones actually for the mini Ubers. We got Lilith. Now for the first two, I actually skipped this step because it's not necessarily necessary, but you want to go ahead and get Fade procced specifically, definitely before Lilith, because you see my poison res is not capped out, and definitely before you go ahead and head out to the big dogs out at Uber Tristram. So I just stand in the fire there at the River of Flames till eventually the Fade will proc because I'm taking damage, and now you're ready to go. Now this can be incredibly dangerous. I would really recommend you really take your time out here. If you even ran around and killed all the monsters as you were going and just took a very long time, I wouldn't blame you. But there, Andy is actually right next to you. I mean Lilith actually, but even though it looks exactly like Andy. But there's those monsters around. The monsters down here will kill you. They will kill you. Even if you have a perfect build out here, they could catch you if you don't pay attention. So here we go. I go over here. Because it's so close to the actual way in, I just go ahead and get after it. Life tapper, start swapping away, and the crushing blow's chopping her down pretty dang good here. This fight usually can have a little bit of a struggle with this incredibly budget gear right here. Fortunately for me though, there aren't any of those succubi around right now. It's just some melee characters hitting away on me, so I'm chugging potions. You see it right there behind my arm, and really as far as Lilith's fights go, this is probably one of the easiest you're gonna get. Sometimes every once in a while you'll get no monster add-ons around here, but if you're getting only those melee characters, you'll be pretty much okay, and they're not even the extra fast lancers or whatever either. So luckily I can go ahead and teleport, get back out of there. So now we're moving on to Uber Tristram. We open it up right there, and you've seen all the potions I had. That is incredibly important, just incredibly. Now with this particular build, and I try to do this almost all the time, lure Mephisto out right here, and you want to life tap and start attacking as fast as possible. Now the further you run away, the more add-ons that'll get like resurrected in this area. So really I try not to run too far away, start crushing blow, start slapping away, and oof, that can happen to even the best of us. One thing you really don't want to do is when you come back to try to get your body, do not stack up all of the add-ons and all the monsters or Mephisto there around the portal where you enter, because you cannot pop any town portals in here for safety. You see I got Salvation up and I'm running around, running, got my body, go back, and I'm going to do all the normal stuff. I proc Fade again, make sure I'm stocked up on potions, everything, get back after it. So unfortunately Mephisto is kind of stacked in there amongst all the other monsters, but he's much faster than the rest. So I kind of lure around, lure him away. There we go. Go ahead and life tap him, start smacking away, and luckily the open wounds proc, he didn't heal back all of his health, so I can chop him down pretty quick from this point on. Run back to town just to kind of, make sure I got everything set, and we'll move on to the other couple out here. And it's Diablo and it's Uber Bale right here. Usually I just take whatever one I can get to follow me out first. It usually ends up being Bale because he teleports out after you, which, boom, happened right there. We cast life tap right away. I kind of want to lure him down away from Diablo. I don't want to take them both on at once with this budget build. As soon as he comes out far enough, I start smacking away. Bale usually isn't too much of a struggle, not too much. Diablo also usually not too much of a struggle either, but I would say a little bit harder than Bale, just in my opinion, with the only exception, Bale mana burns you like crazy. So actually I'm chugging potions most of the time to keep my mana up so I can keep smiting, keep life tapping, keep dealing more damage. Then we'll go after the final one here. We got Uber Diablo. So same deal, life tap, start smacking. He summons up a ton of these guys, these demon lords or whatever they're called this particular area, I forget. It can be a little bit of a struggle. A little bit. Usually I've been okay, but just keep chugging those potions and just keep swinging. And as long as you got the life tap on, you're usually gonna be okay. You see Diablo actually goes down right here without too much of a struggle. and I go ahead and get out of there before I get chopped down. I'll go ahead and run around here so I can eventually kind of lure them away a little bit so I can actually grab the torch and get out of here with my life. Well, there we go. Now let's see, what torch did we get? Hopefully it was worth our time. 31318 Amazon torch. Now, I will say you do really have to pay attention, and this will be a little bit easier if you actually have life and all res charms down here, or just lightning res charms. If anything you get your hands on, grand charms, large charms, small charms, anything with life and all the different resistances on it will help you out a ton. But hey, hopefully this budget smiter guide helps you out. Get your first torch. Peace. And you do deadly strike. I haven't rocked. It's got unlucky pile. Chug. You probably, I would say you're easily going to go through 50 of them probably with this exact setup. Even as you get life tap on them, you smite away, you got crushing blow. Ooh, almost got another problem right there, but pay attention, Phil. Eventually, I do find Iziel down here, but he's piled up by monsters. A lot of times he'll be standing there solo by himself. I get lucky, I lure him over here, almost no monsters follow, and here we go. Oh, just realized I didn't have my life tap wand on, so we swapped it on super quick, get life tap on him, and as fast as we can, start smiting him away. Izzy's pretty much one of the easiest ones. As long as you get life tap on him, you smite away, you got crushing blow, deadly strike, all that good stuff. Usually not too painfully difficult. So we go ahead and chop him down, grab the next piece, and we'll move on to one of the harder ones actually for the mini Ubers. We got Lilith. Now for the first two, I actually skipped this step because it's not necessarily
Greetings. Yes? Greetings. Yes? The Order welcomes you. Good day.
Welcome back. Approach and let's trade. Ask and learn. Approach and let's trade.
Yes? Hello. Greetings.
It's locked.
Diablo 2 Resurrected is such a popular online game. A lot of people develop the way that they like to do things, the way they want to level, the way they want to get gear and things. How you do it on online ladder or just online specifically, but sometimes people go ahead and switch to single player, and you don't always want to do things exactly the same way when you're doing everything by yourself as opposed to when you're online with a party or with other people. So I'm the type of person that plays probably 75% offline. I'll actually make the biggest mistake that new players to offline single player make when they're first starting out. I just want to say real quick, I did do a video on what my opinion is for the best way to start off on online single player, and this is not exactly the same because some of these mistakes are right here from the comments on my live stream or on my video. Even though one or two of them kind of overlap.
I am overburdened.
If you only watch one video or the other, I want to make sure you get this information. I'm starting off with the first mistake right now, and actually I'm doing it the correct way right here. Do you see what I'm talking about? Maybe you have a better idea of what it is. Now, the mistake you do not want to make is starting off with a character maybe that isn't that great for starting off on single player. Maybe Necromancer, maybe Druid. They're not really the best options in my opinion. For me, there's number one, the most primo one you want to start off with is the Sorceress, and I don't really think there's another choice, to be perfectly honest. Now, you can do whatever you want for fun. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if you want to have kind of the easiest, smoothest start to single player, definitely start with the Sorceress. Now, the number one reason why to start with the Sorceress is probably super obvious, and it's this right here. Being able to teleport around inherently on the playthrough. This allows you to skip a ton of monsters and not have to worry about fighting them if you don't want to. It allows you to get to the area you're trying to farm faster, and just all-around efficiency when anytime moving. There's no way that any character on a playthrough is going to be running as fast as the Sorceress can go ahead and go. I'm right here, I'm about to do what could be a mistake. Now, of course, Cal or Shell farming the context here. We're actually in Nightmare, if you see that right here, but I could be making a mistake because one thing I hear quite often is people farm like normal difficulty and Nightmare difficulty for more gear way too much sometimes. Sure, you want to go ahead and get yourself a stealth armor and normal difficulty and make yourself a more. Perhaps even if you in Nightmare, go ahead and make sure you have yourself a spirit sword as you're going through. Maybe you can make Shale F to make yourself a Rhyme Shield, but you don't want to really farm something like Nightmare Andy, hoping to find yourself better gear, because yeah, you could kill Nightmare Andy and you could maybe get lucky and maybe find something good, you know, but why would you actually do this? Your odds of getting a good unique from Nightmare and Dario, it's not particularly high, especially you're gonna be lower level. Taking Andy out like this on players 1 difficulty, you're gonna rinse and repeat and get probably a lot of nothing. So in general, you know, when you get the hell difficulty, the Andys, the maps, the running trap and stuff like that to find better gear, maybe you're hitting cows, trying to get high runes and ruler bases, that's not really what you want to do on Nightmare. Just get the bare minimum basics. I recommend just the bare minimum low-level runes and try to move on and try to advance and get the help. So here we are, Rollstone Keep, heading down to do bail runs to trade over from Nightmare to Elder, but it very well to do from Nightmare difficulty as well. And this is kind of what a lot of people do online to go ahead and level up, right? They go ahead and do bail run. And whoa, you kind of see the instance why this can kind of be a problem down here. This is incredibly dangerous. Sure, if you have your designated teleporter online, they can make it down there. And then as a full party, you can go ahead and clear it out because you're going to have somebody that can deal some sort of damage to all the different monster types. But in general, I would not actually usually recommend running bail like this, running bail waves in order to get experience. Whether you're going from Nightmare, the hell difficulty, or normal Nightmare. So with the amount of time it takes to get down here, how difficult these bail waves can be sometimes, especially, oh my gosh, if you take a death right here, you've lost pretty much all the experience you've been fighting to gain. And this is just players 1 difficulty. Spectral Hit Extra Fast Lister. Here's actually what I recommend. First of all, popping the episode, going on the bottom and turn this to players 8 difficulty. Hop out to the Frigid Highlands, and I would honestly recommend doing this as soon as you get to Act 5 pretty much. You set it to P8, you can come out here, go ahead and take out a really easy pack here on players 8 difficulty. I didn't bring any healing potions because I'm a dumbhead, but pretty much anybody can go ahead and take this pack out. Go ahead and take them out, and you just wait in your team over and over and over and over again. The thing that's so great about coming out here, he's getting a lot of experience because this is a super unique pack, bunch of minions around. They're actually incredibly weak. Flash, flash, flash you down. Like I said, I just got stealth and lore and stuff. Flash them all down, you get a super unique kill, and move on to the next run. There's not a crazy amount of downtime waiting for the waves like on Vale. They're not hard, not difficult at all. And because you can jack the players count up and take them out super easy, you can actually get quite a bit of experience, especially coming to this part in Nightmare. Just the experience can just go up for you. Now, occasionally you will get some harder packs. It'll be up to you if you want to take them out. Pretty dangerous, but so fast you can just save and exit it. Really, even in Nightmare at level 75, I got this much experience from doing some P8. That was like what? 3 runs? Another huge mistake I hear people mention all the time. They'll, taking out some of these monsters out here. This is hell difficulty. I actually left it on player's 8 on accident. Whoops, but oh my gosh, no! No! The skeletons are immune to lightning, and that's the only damage type I have. Oh no, am I gonna have to respec so into like dual spec or something so I can take everything out? No, of course not. Just go past them. Just go right past them. And the option resurrecting. I don't remember the math right now, but there's only something like 15 or 20 monsters total that you literally have to kill. There are actually ways to skip even the Bale waves and stuff like that, so you don't even have to take them out. Like I said, very hard, probably not realistic, but that's just a full instant. There's really only 15 or 20 monsters in the whole game you have to take out. So anything you don't want to do, teleport past, or just run. And here we are in hell difficulty, and we need to come in and clear out the Chaos Sanctuary. My goodness. Oh. Now, I could probably do this right now with the Blizzard Sorceress at level 75 on this character at the moment. But man, you see some of the struggle right here. When you get later in the game, especially here, Act 4, clearing the Chaos Sanctuary. Dang, dude. You got Lord DeSace, Infector, here, especially with the Fanaticide build. Or you get out here into Act 5. Oh, geez. One-shotted from Archers. Oh, my goodness. See, these later acts, they really do get more difficult. A lot of times we just remember, hey, we have Enigma and Infinity and Call to Arms. This is easy, but on a playthrough, a first-time playthrough with no gear, these later acts can be tough. That's why I say, just don't do it, or at least wait until later. So in this character, I did complete the whole game in order to get these terror zones, but you don't necessarily have to farm terror zones right off the bat. You could, of course, do the absolute classic area. Just get to Act 3, kind of get towards the end of Act 3, and just stop and hold up right there. Now, I know I don't have to build for it, I know, but hey, you come out here first off and farm up the Countess. Now, if you're a Blizzard Sorceress, of course, not looking too hot, they're all immune to cold, but any other build of, fire or lightning primo actually.
Not here.
Come out here, farm up the Countess. You'll find keys along the way there. You'll go ahead and be able to get the runes to go ahead and make some rune words. And also, you can take out super easy packs along the way, like these carvers and stuff, and hopefully get lucky with a high rune, a rune word base, or even a unique or set item. Of course, most people will know, hey, Andaryl's a good spot to go ahead and farm, so you can go ahead and farm up Andaryl right here, hoping to get those Harlequin's Crests, the SOJs, all of that kind of stuff. Not on those ones here, but hey, Immortal Pings boost super early on. High strength requirement for the soldier, but still a good item to get on your 51st Andaryl kill. Another great spot to farm up another Act boss, of course, Mephisto, and you just go ahead and Milk Trick Mephisto. Most people know this, but yeah, just lure him over here. We'll cast the lower res wand on him. Just drop Blizzard from a distance. Sit back and just chill, waiting for our godly drops. Get those good items next time. We got a unique throwing weapon, maybe for your crowbar coming up after this character. Of course, most people know high runes from lower Kuros runs, another great place to go ahead and hit. Just chill, waiting for our god. You just go ahead and Trick Mephisto. Most people know this, but yeah, just lure him over here. We'll cast a lower res wand on him. Just drop Blizzard from a distance. Sit back and just chill, waiting for our godly drops. We'll get those good items next time. We got a unique here, a throwing weapon, maybe for your throw barb coming up after this character. Of course, most people know.
It's locked. can't carry anymore.
Thanks.
I can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore. I need mana. Not enough mana. I am overburdened.
Stay a while and listen.
Yes? Yes?
I need a key.
Fuck.
I need a key. I can't carry anymore.
Greetings.
It's locked.
Good afternoon.